Put your children to bed.
Kids don't need to hear what's about to happen.
Hot crack has returned.
HBK, the lady lover, the king of pleasure.
It's the most hated Ock, baby.
Oh, please say the baby.
You tuned in to Pie Crack. 8-Bit Paul, a.k.a. Five the Fresh.
Pie cracking this bitch.
Yo, it's your boy Matt, the Mad Titan. We the Bloods with attitude, and this is the party dude.
Barely.
Anybody else I talk to about this shit, they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And that's why Pie Crack must exist.
Pod Crack, real raw and unmotherfucking quick.
Welcome to Pie Crack. It is your mother's favorite piece of chocolate, Heartbreak, HBK. And on this very special episode, I am joined by longtime listener, first time caller.
Yes.
Okay, all right. True. We are joined by a stage and screen actor who is tearing up the acting world and setting the acting world on fire.
Wow.
Especially in the Atlanta area.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
Do you not know who I'm talking about?
This intro is really setting a stage, and I'm just hoping that I live up to the intro that you are providing.
You gotta build them up before you tear them down. So I'm speaking about none other than the person you've already heard from. We're talking about Marita McKee.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Clap it up in the studio audience. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Tonight, we are speaking about none other than the brand new Netflix film, the James Samuel written, produced, directed. Second time this year that I had to sit through a Netflix movie where Idris Elba wears a cowboy hat.
Oh.
We are speaking about the brand new Western.
Yes.
The Harder They Fall.
Yes.
The Harder They Fall. Zazie Beetz, Idris Elba, Jonathan Majors, Regina King.
Say it with your chest.
Oh, I'm sorry, I fell asleep reading the phone book. I mean, the cast list for The Harder They Fall. So,
come on, there's more.
Too many to name. Too many.
So
people.
many.
It's like
many.
It's like an acceptance speech.
They threw all of the Black Hollywood people in there.
So, what did you think of The Harder They Fall, Marita?
Man, where do you want to start? Right?
There's no place like the beginning.
Man, let's start at the beginning then, shall we?
Yes. No, this is what I'm asking you. What were your general overall feelings about the movie?
Absolutely, right? So, there were some things that surprised me. Some performances that surprised me, which I think we'll get to a little bit later. Some moments in the script that I was like, I wasn't expecting that. There were definitely some things that I thought could have been better. And I will say there were definitely some moments that I was like, like that. I like that. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Oh, there's a crescendo at the end of this movie. Who would have thought? Like, there were those types of things that happened. I say in general, right? In general, considering everything that I, decided to critique on tonight, I would say in general, it is a decent film. Decent to me is like middle of the line. Not the worst film I've ever seen. not the absolute best film I've ever seen, but I'm like, I can get with it. Would I watch it again? I probably would watch it again. But yeah, I think that's my general take on it. Now, when we go through with a fine-tooth comb, you know, I got some other things to say.
Okay.
Dear
Well,
brother,
yes, ma'am. Yes,
thoughts. I need to know your general overview, take, opinion.
I'll be honest with you, and I don't think this is going to surprise you or the listeners one bit. All right. My general consensus, my overall consensus is I, without a shadow of a doubt, absolutely, positively, with every fiber of my being.
Oh, wow.
I love this film. I love this film.
Okay.
It made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me think more than anything. And the twist at the end, who would have thought they're brothers? Oh my God. It just it took it to a whole new level. It's something that I hadn't seen. You know what I'm saying? In all of my 8 years of life.
Oh,
when I saw this film.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here it comes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were talking about The Harder They Fall. I'm talking about the first time I saw this film, and that was in 1996 when it was called The Cherokee Kid, starring Sinbad and Gregory Hines.
And I was waiting for this moment right here.
What do you mean?
This is the moment I was waiting for, because I knew.
What did you know?
John doesn't like this film. I knew.
What did you mean? What do you mean? How could you pull that out of the ether? How could you be so clairvoyant?
Oh my gosh, it has all of the makings of films that HBK don't like. Okay. It has all of the ingredients to make for a film that will be rated low on your list.
If it's such an easy formula, then why do they keep making them? You know what I'm saying?
The thing is though, right? Like, man, your formula is most people's standard. Like,
oh, wow.
That's the thing, right? That is the thing. But I will say, having not really delved into it yet with you, I will say I see your points. I feel like I see your points, and I feel like we probably are seeing some of the same things, although I do feel like you judge a little bit harsher, but that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, okay. Anywho,
yeah.
This is pure and utter trash. This film is, I'm not going to say pure and utter trash, okay? I will say
that's steep. That was steep.
I will say 95% trash. You know what I'm saying? You know, it has a little goodness baked into the crust. You're like, oh man. Usually I don't. Usually there's not filet mignon mixed in with this swill. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? The water from Flint, Michigan? Okay, all right. So,
oh wow, you didn't have to do that.
But at the end of the day, it's still water, huh? You know.
You are impossible to please.
Not at all. Ask my ladies. So anywho, no, this movie was horrendous, man. This movie was offensive. This movie, it was a waste of not only my time, but it was a waste of the time taken by the star-studded cast. I'm not gonna say it was a waste of James Samuel's time, because he seems like this was really the story that he always wanted to tell. Obviously an idiot. I'm sorry. You know what? You're in the business with the movers and shakers. I can't say these derogatory things about your possibly future employers.
Listen, you better know it, okay? Keep your sis protected out here in these streets.
Yeah, nah, this is garbage. Yeah, no, I let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
Let's get into Tyler Perry presents Django Light.
Okay, okay. All right. So on that point,
yes, ma'am.
Right? On that point, definitely very influenced by Quentin Tarantino. However, what I was saying to myself, I was like, yeah, it's not Kill Bill, it's not Django. However, I see how there's definitely influences there, but it definitely didn't go to the level, right? Mm-hmm. That a Quentin Tarantino film typically does.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously Quentin Tarantino has a striking style. The only people that have ever come close would be a Robert Rodriguez with the Machete, not Machete, but he did also make Machete, but the Mariachi trilogy, you know what I'm saying, Desperado and whatnot. And then you even have the people who led by Tarantino produced a Tarantino-esque product. I'm talking about your Oliver Stones with your Natural Born Killers and whatnot. But yeah, it's still even though it's a style full of tropes now because he's been in the business that long, it is still a style that's hard to master outright and make it look good. You know what I'm saying? It seems very simple, but it's very meticulous. But this, listen, I understand. Let's get the pomp and circumstance out of the way. I understand why you make a Western. Westerns are very easy to make. All you need is a back lot and some old timey clothes. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. This is this is the one standard. You know what I'm saying? Like when people old singers used to sing, everybody used to sing that one song, and you know, because that's the standard that you measured yourself by. So every filmmaker sets out to make a Western. I get it. However, this is trash. And it was trash from the opening sequence. Why? Because it told me out the gate, this is not worth your time. It told me out the gate, this movie is fictional, but these people existed.
Okay, right?
Unnecessary, because what you do at that point is you began to fictionalize Black history. All right. So I could see if these were, you know, let's say the movie Selma, right? Is a heavily, I'm not gonna say fictional story, but it's not authorized by the family of Dr. Martin Luther King, right? So therefore, it had no involvement from them, even down to the speeches that Dr. King gave in the film were not his own speeches because they were not allowed to use his own speeches. So they had to write their own, you know what I'm saying, and perpetrate them as Martin Luther King's speeches. I love that movie. All right. Shocker. He doesn't say that often. Because even in spite of the setbacks, they still made an overall good film. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so some of the ancillary characters, the John Lewis's and whatnot, okay, you're gonna fictionalize some of their interactions. Right. To fit them into the overall narrative. Yeah. All right. But it still maintains the dignity and the overall reality and gravity that they bring to the story. So yes, you can take some licenses, you know what I'm saying, some latitude with historic Black characters if it fits your story. However, to bring a 10-person cast and start including characters, real life characters that not only most of them never even crossed paths or lived and at the same time, almost nobody, with the exception of Idris Elba's Rufus Buck and Lakeith Stanfield's Cherokee Bill, were ever even criminals. That's offensive to me, especially since these people lived his noteworthy lives.
Right. So I think that was the issue, because I saw a lot of headlines, right, prior to seeing this movie about casting, due to the fact that the people that they casted in these roles to portray these real people had no like resemblance, right?
Right.
And so before even watching the movie, I assumed just from that alone that these were going to be retelling or retellings, if you will, of things that happened between these real life Black cowboys and cowgirls, right? So I thought surely that is going to play into the overall narrative, the overall plot, right? That somehow these characters at some point interacted with one another, and this is what came about. But quite frankly, just based on the movie and the way things happened, you actually did not need to pull names from real life cowboys, real life historical figures. You didn't have to do that, right? You could have named them. I got to give this 227 reference, because I honestly felt like this was full circle for Regina King, because if you know anything about 227, you know there's an episode where she's playing Brenda and she comes home and she tells her parents about Two Gun Annie and how she was this Black, Western woman. And, she was, fighting criminals left and right out in the West, right? And so for some reason, that episode is what came back up in my mind, because Mary plays Two Gun Mary in the episode, and the whole episode is a Western, right? And literally everything that you see in this movie is what was in this episode. You got somebody who owns a saloon, you got the girls who be singing on stage, right? Somebody's coming in there with guns. You got the hero of the day who is trying to save the town from all the bad guys, right? Like, it was literally like, this is the Two Gun Annie episode 2.0. Like, that is what I felt. And I say all that to say, like, these characters should have been wholly fictional. Because there was no, unless I missed something, right? Unless I need to just go back and do my history, there was nothing to connect them to the actual stories of these actual historical figures, right? So to me, I'm like, that's not necessary to the overall plot, because nothing that we may even learn about them, aside from they own guns or maybe they owned a saloon or what have you, like, this story is just a story.
Yes, this is a basic, generic, paint by numbers Western. They ride into town, they steal, robbing trains, quick draw, you know what I'm saying? Meeting in the middle of the street at high noon, bank robberies, all the
literally,
all of, the sheriff, the man in the black hat, the man in the white hat, you know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff, all that genericness was on display. So if that's the story that you wanted to tell, I don't fault you. I would encourage you to tell a more original story, but I still can't fault you, because if that's the story in your heart, then great, my friend. But I think the thing that began to set me off out the gate is the inclusion of one character, one very real character, and that's Delroy Lindo playing Bass Reeves, the U.S. Marshal. And here's my history and with the story of Bass Reeves. Is the first time I even heard the name of Bass Reeves was when Antoine Is it Antoine Fuqua? May Training Day?
Let me look. That sounds right though.
Yeah, Antoine Fuqua. Yes.
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 Mhm.
When Antoine Fuqua remade the Magnificent Seven, right?
Mhm.
And I remember Denzel Washington saying that he wanted to play Bass Reeves, and I was like, well, who is Bass Reeves? You know what I'm saying? And then he went so far as to model his character in the Magnificent Seven after Bass Reeves with the long mustache and wearing all black, because these were all characteristics of Bass Reeves, who was the, what was he? He was like 30 odd years as a peace officer in Indian
Mhm.
territory, and he arrested something like 3,000 people.
Mhm.
I remember I bought a Bass Reeves comic book one time,
Mhm.
and it's a fascinating story, right? That
Yeah.
nobody knows, and they say that the story of the Lone Ranger was modeled after him, right? Such
Yeah.
an impressive career, like just as just a black hero through and through. But this
Yeah.
is somebody that nobody knows. And one of the things with black historical figures, especially when you get back into the 1800s, is the record keeping of that gets murky.
Mhm. Mhm.
So especially when you have somebody who has a storied career that's on paper, right?
Mhm.
Man, that should be give that all the money. Give that the biggest budget. Give the entire rollout. I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
But nothing. Instead, you have him as a B character in a fictional story.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Helping
Yeah.
out Nat Love, who was never an outlaw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A field hand, not a slave, like, you know what I'm saying, but a cowboy, somebody who herded cattle, which is, hey, you know what I'm saying? Make your money, my friend, but still not an outlaw. Uh, uh, the Zazie Beats character, Stagecoach Annie,
Right. Mail carrier.
a 5-star mail carrier. You know what I'm saying? Who was famous for going into on mail routes that nobody else would deliver to.
Right.
In the
Right. Not
West.
an outlaw.
Not an outlaw. Model human being, model citizen.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not so familiar with the young lady, Danielle Deadweiler, and her role as Cuffy,
Yeah. Yeah.
but her real life counterpart, Catherine Williams, right?
Yeah.
Enlisted, hid her on some Mulan type shit, hid her
Yes.
identity, her gender, joined the Union Army, and was the only female Buffalo soldier. Wow, that's a terrific story.
Yes.
Wow, that's a story to be told. That's a story to be celebrated and lifted on high. Instead, she plays an ambiguous character who one character in the movie had to question his own sexuality because he was attracted to her, but he didn't know she was a woman. So then I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't need that.
Right. But then also it's summed up as a character in the very end as, oh, I always wanted to be a marshal deputy person thingy. Like, she's stupid. like she has no idea of who she wants to be and what she wants to do. And it's like, wait a minute, this is literally like a legend, right? This is someone who should be heralded as amazing. And you sum her up as, like you said, some ambiguous, asexual, don't know how to wear a dress, like you get what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like, y'all, like, at least do justice by these people who actually lived phenomenal lives and were ahead of their time in their chosen professions and fields.
Yes.
And I get your point of coming from that viewpoint, right? That's offensive.
Yeah.
because that is something that has been done to Black stories and Black historical figures for so long, right? One, there's just an outright erasure for the most part. But then when it is talked about, we do hear about the same 5 to 10 historical figures, the ones that are okay and deemed okay by, American history. And then it's like we finally get an opportunity to be exposed to very nuanced people and figures that you will likely not hear about in your grade school career, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have an opportunity to breathe and to shine on film, but they are reduced to bandits.
Yeah.
That were in a gang together. And these people probably never even crossed paths.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I get it.
And especially right now, right? And I hate to bring this to the reality, you know what I'm saying, to the forefront.
Yeah.
But especially in today's society where it's, you know what I'm saying, the thought of Black history, right, is in the balance. You know what I'm saying? The thought of teaching Black history in classrooms is in the balance, right? Because when I was a kid, you know what I mean, it was like these little, they might have been like 30-page books, and it was like I had my mother and my mother's friends would get me these little books, and they had so much information about different Black historical figures that aren't necessarily taught. Not your, you know what I'm saying, in school, you might learn about Dr. Martin Luther King. You might learn about Frederick Douglass. You might learn about, like you said, the agreed upon, you know what I'm saying? Stamped and agreed upon Black figures to learn about, whereas you won't learn so much about people off the beaten path. And so I would read these stories about Madam C.J. Walker, and I'll read these stories about Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable, the man who found Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and these were things that are necessary to tell, but they don't tell these stories. And even Black filmmakers don't tell these stories. And even now, when streaming services are so big and they're looking to fill up countless hours of programming, they're not telling these stories. So holy, this movie, and maybe I'll get a little too deep for the intro, but holy, this movie offends me on that tip, that you went out of your way, James Samuels, to give me a film that included reality-based characters,
right,
in a paint by the numbers scenario.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a mixed bag for me, right?
Yeah.
Because I so appreciate almost everybody in this movie, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I have such reverence for the work that they've done. A lot of them a single role, some of them multiple roles. You know what I'm saying? You look at like Zazie Beetz and Lakeith Stanfield, both of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta alumni. Lakeith Stanfield just put on an acting clinic in Judas and the Black Messiah. You know what I'm saying? Which is, like, once again, true stories, right?
Yes.
That they uncovering, and true stories that you never would have known, and just breathtaking stuff like that, right? Idris Elba, I don't know if the Podcrack audience knows. Idris Elba, my biggest disappointment, man. I'm on my Kanye drink champs tip. My biggest disappointment, my worst time. Just because I feel like with the potential he had, I always think back to what's the movie, American Gangster. I always think back to American Gangster, and when Jamie Foxx was talking about him and Denzel being in the same scene, like, I had to shoot that nigga. He can act. They got a new man they got a new guy out of England. He's supposed to be a bad motherfucker. I got to shoot that nigga. I got to kill him on screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, Because at that time, and that was probably like 09, 010, I mean, 2009, 2010, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Boy, you thought he was about to be a problem. Boy, you was trying to dream cast him. As Black people, we was trying to dream cast him in every single thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then it seemed like he was in Daddy's Little Girls.
Yeah.
And then nothing else. You know what I'm saying? You'll see him pop up here and there and, once or twice, so, and collect a paycheck. But boy, he's never had that acting role to sink his teeth into.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
I will say this, right? Because I know at some point we're probably going to touch on performances, right?
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy his performance in this film because there were definitely one of the notes that I wrote. One of the notes that I wrote from scene 1, I was like, these performances float between caricature and one dimension characters. And so,
okay.
Because I felt like some of the performances lacked nuance, right? Lacked some sort of complexity, right? I did not feel intrinsically connected to a character in their story, right?
Yeah.
But I felt like there were some performances in the film that did not feel that way to me. And I would say Idris's performance was one of the performances where I was like, okay, I feel like there's some sort of depth to the performance. And I cannot say that, unfortunately, can't say that about everybody that was in the film, but he was one of the people that I was like, okay, he has an exception to this idea of caricature, because I am telling you, child, I felt very much like, did these people, it's like they read the textbook How to Be in a Western course outline.
Yeah, I differ from you because I feel like they didn't even lean into the Western aspect of it enough in some of their performances.
Okay, and I can actually, I can give you that. I can give you that point.
Because like Lakeith Stanfield, I think the man still had his earrings in, man. You know what I'm saying? Then he came in and he spoke eloquently, and at one point he spoke another language, and I'm just like,
he did. And where did that come from?
Bro, are you like, you know what I'm saying?
I was like, what does
you just leave Harvard, my nigga? Like, what are you doing, man?
I asked myself, I was like, wait a minute. Did I miss something in the film? Because he said it as if it was supposed to connect.
Yes.
To something someone said earlier. Like, and I was like, wait, I must have missed that part of the film. Because I was like, dude, like you ain't spoke another language this whole film. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the West, in some nondescript town and some nondescript year.
Yes.
You speaking another language, my dude? Like,
and he brought such an eloquence that I didn't understand why. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at you bringing gravitas and eloquence to your character, but make it make sense. Verisimilitude. Does it make sense within the world that you have created? When I'm watching a movie, that is my guiding light. That is my North Star.
Yeah.
What does it make sense in this world? And sir, no.
But like, Lakeith is Lakeith, though.
Yes.
And that is what I'm learning as I have seen different performances from him. Okay. And I will say this, just in general, as an actor, one of the things that I'm learning is that you do bring a sense of self to every role that you portray. So it's like a fine line, I feel, between bringing yourself, but also making sure you're creating a character that fits into the world of this script, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I feel like that's the line you have to walk. Like, people should know what is a Lakeith performance, because there is something that he brings to every performance, but we should still be able to see the differences in every character that you portray. And I will say, Lakeith is Lakeith, okay? There is a I don't know how to put my finger on it, okay? I can't tell you what it is. But Lakeith has there is a sinister undertone to all of his performances. And I think that's why he works so well as William O'Neill in Judas and the Black Messiah, because you needed that.
Yeah.
In that role required it. And so I felt like the mesh of who he is as a performer and what that character called for was beautiful, right? And it made sense. But Lakeith was Lakeith in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Lakeith was Lakeith in Get Out.
Yeah.
Lakeith was Lakeith in The Photograph.
But see, here's my thing.
Was Lakeith in this film.
But okay. But this is what I feel about all these people, right? If there's something that you loved about the performance in this movie, or any of the performance of this movie, right?
Yeah.
Then that is a testament to the greatness of these actors and actresses. Yeah. Because that's what I felt like was the disconnect, is because they had nothing to feed on. They had nothing to feast on. They had nothing to eat up, because the script was subpar. You know what I'm saying? The direction was most likely subpar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas listen, Jonathan Majors, who is now going to be the big bad in this next phase of Marvel films, taking over for Josh Brolin's Thanos. He's going to be Kang the Conqueror. I showed you a scene.
You did.
From the Disney Plus series Loki.
And he ate that scene up.
They eat it up, right? But they gave him something. They gave him the morsels that they gave him in the writing.
Yeah.
Allowed him to take that to another place. You know what I'm saying? Everybody here did an amazing job. Yeah. Because it's what they knew how to do.
Yeah.
Well, almost everybody.
Almost.
Because like I said before, what's the young man's name? Was it James Mitchell, James Winston, what's his name? Man, James Samuels.
Oh my gosh! Not the fact that you forgot the director and the writer's name and the producer's name. Stop it.
First of all, listen. Can I put something on you real quick?
Oh, goodness. What is
it? What we always do here at Podcracker, what we always like to do is bring a little bit of backstory. You know what I'm saying? Bring a little bit of window dressing so people know exactly, you know what I'm saying? So all members of the dais know exactly what's going on. I like to bring everybody up to speed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
What would you say if I told you that this is only the second movie that James Samuels has directed? What would you say if I told you this is only the second film that James Samuels has written? And then what would you say if I told you that the first film that he wrote and directed had the exact same subject matter and the exact same characters as this film?
So he created two of the same film.
I guess you would call The Harder They Fall a sequel of sorts. As That Love, the the role that was rivetingly done by Mr. Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
It was portrayed by the late Michael K. Williams. Stagecoach Annie. Who was famously portrayed here in The Harder They Fall by Zazie Beetz. You know what I'm saying? Fresh off of her performance in the Oscar award-winning film Joker. In this other film, she was portrayed by the sexy songstress and midwife Erykah Badu. Doula, midwife, it's all the same thing. I ain't got no kids. I don't know about these things.
Oh man.
And this movie that I'm alluding to, man, is I'm sorry, They Die by Dawn. Many people in one Rosario Dawson. Shout out to Rosario Dawson. You ain't watching Dope Sick on Hulu, you missing out. You know what I'm saying? Once again, but still, yo, this is trash, man. This man is trash, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen.
There was some good shots. And again, I feel like this is for anybody who is like, they are film junkie, film nerd, what have you, like love the technical aspect of it. There was some really nice shots in this film. Like there was this, when Lakeith's character had the standoff with RJ's character, I don't know if you noticed, but they did this like above the head shot and you could see their shadows looking right at each other. That probably was a little CGI as well, of course. But I was like, that's a good shot. That's a great picture. There was this zoom out that they did from Rufus's office all the way into a tight shot to Jonathan's character when he was on the horse and they had rode into Redwood City at the very end. I was like, that's an expensive shot. Okay, that costs money to make that shot. All right. So like there were things in there that excited me just as a like movie enthusiast, a film enthusiast. So I will throw that out there. I know Podcrack, y'all don't really be caring about that, but I enjoyed it. So that's why I'm like, I'm not gonna give it a trash rating because there were some things about it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the music soundtrack. And I love when music properly like underskirts
I disagree 1000%. You can get all that all the way out of here.
Listen, I'm here for it. I think it creates something that's nicely done, nicely and artistically done. I like it. I like when
because you know who the soundtrack was done by?
I know.
I'll give you one guess. He did a couple other things on the movie. I'll give you one guess.
I know. So yes, for those who don't know, James Samuel is also the person, one of the people who served as like, I guess you could call it a music producer. I think he actually has a track on the soundtrack.
Doing what?
I don't know. Do we need to take a listen?
Trash ass nigga, man. I hate
Lakeith has a track on the soundtrack.
What? Like now y'all just being silly, man. What are y'all doing?
Listen, Jay-Z produced it, okay? Sean Carter produced it.
No. And that's, let's talk about it. This right here was the first time they had a track on there featuring Jay-Z, Jadakiss, Benny the Butcher, and Conway the Machine. Yo, that quartet right there. Yo, man. After they get finished rapping, after the last bar is finished being spit, I should want to go out and commit grand larceny. You know what I'm saying? However, the song sucked.
Okay, all right.
You know
Difference
how
of opinion, guys.
you know. Nah, this is an agreed upon fact. You know how bad at music you gotta be to take them 4 niggas, put them on a track together, and produce baloney malarkey?
Oh.
I'm just saying. So let's see the Bullets, because he has to have a name. Right?
The Bullets, yes. Again, also for our listening audience, the Bullets is the stage name of writer, producer, director James Samuels. All right. So, I mean, can we look at these tracks? Okay. These are people that the people know. Okay.
Wait, you know what? Hold on.
There are tracks. Okay. There are tracks.
No, you will hold on. Hold on is what you will do. Hold on is what you will do. The man said, listen, the judge says you will hold on. I'm holding you in contempt of court, man. Because we have the Bullets.
Wow.
Video.
Wow.
Rosario Dawson.
Wow. Man. Oh, wow.
Stop filming me. Stop filming me. Stop filming me.
Exclusive, guys. Exclusive.
Stop filming me. I know Kung Fu. Stop filming me. Stop filming me. Stop filming me.
Ass nigga, man.
Rosario Dawson, please. My friends ain't gonna believe it. Whatever you do, keep filming. That's Rosario Dawson.
All right.
Sorry.
Supervision X-ray with your superhero mind state as you walk into the limelight. You're super cool.
Okay.
I cannot.
Okay. This might be the last episode of Pie Crack.
You have subjected the people to 4 minutes of.
No, this will not make it into the final cut of this episode. But just the sheer fact that this exists.
And it existed so long ago. Like, this is not recent.
I'm done. I'm like, why?
This is what happens. You don't have respect for people, and then you go down a hole and you find other reasons and ways to validate you not respecting them as creatives. This is what you do.
Where is the no, you stop right now. Where is the part? What's the respect worthy thing? I just need one. You give me one respectable thing about this man, I will change. I will throw everything else out. I will cast everything else to the side. You give me one respectable quality. You can even give me a handwritten letter from his mother saying that he's an acceptable person. And I'll cast all this. This James Samuel hatred. I'll cast it all away.
It's giving. You know what it's giving?
Please. I'm at a loss. You captain this shit.
It's giving Fire Festival.
Oh God.
And hear me out, right? It's like you got all of these people to vouch for your project and agree to be a part of it and attach their name.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It's like, what did you have to say to the people? But I get it. Because honestly, had I seen the character list breakdown, had I gotten an audition, had I realized the network it would be on.
It's a snowball, right? Like this
I would have said yes.
Effect. It's the snowball effect, right?
I would have said yes. I would have been like, of course, I'm going to do this.
Like you get one person, right? And then you maybe get Idris, right? Or something like that. Then Idris turns into, well, Regina King said yes because Idris is in it. Then Lakeith Stanfield wants to, act opposite of, Idris and, Regina King. Oh, Jonathan Majors said, of course he'll act opposite Idris and Regina King. And oh yeah, Zazie Beetz will be in there because Lakeith is in there, and he vowed yes. So I believe it.
Yeah, and what you have to understand is that the majority of these people, I am for sure that they are probably contract only.
Yeah.
Offer only.
Yeah.
Like they didn't sit in no audition room. They didn't send in no self-tape. Okay. But literally off the strength of the network and the connections that they have, I am pretty sure James Samuel with a producer byline, sharing a producer byline with Sean Carter, right?
No. Listen. The harder they fall, listen. That ain't got nothing to do with James Samuel. That has everything to do with Sean Carter. That has everything to do with Jay-Z.
Okay.
Doing a Netflix thing. Yeah, no, I do that. I'm with that. No, I'm more shocked that people were in Die by Dawn. That's what I'm shocked. That I'm not shocked that The Harder They Fall exists. I'm not shocked that it exists. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like at a certain point you're saying, okay, well, it's not just niggas in the hood killing each other, however nuanced that may be. It's something. It's something else. All right. It's Western. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to do a Western. I've never done a Western, blah, blah, blah. Cool. All right. It's all black cast. And oh, wow. Yeah. And Jay-Z's producing it. It's Netflix. It's instantly going to be in front of millions of eyeballs. It's going to have a lot of hype attached to it. Who cares who the writer is? Who cares who the director is? We'll get to that later. And, from what I saw, not the most gifted director. So it probably it wasn't probably a hard set to be on. He probably just let you do you, and you take whatever you got from this thinly written material, right? I want to know why people were in They Die by Dawn.
Okay. So can I?
Yes, you can.
I say this? Can I just offer this perspective?
Please.
Just a counterbalance perspective, just to, as a newbie playwright, right?
Yeah.
There are ideas, and also you, because you're a screenwriter. The people don't know, but you are.
Don't tell nobody that, man. Hey, man.
I'm sorry.
I am a commentator. Hey, matter of fact, don't ever tell anybody that. You know how much hatred I spew on here every day?
I'm saying I'm saying this because even my own brother is not even willing to allow me to audition for a film that he writes. And I'm hoping that by putting this out in the atmosphere that he would be a little bit more, amicable to me when he starts shopping his screenplay. But I digress. So I say as a newbie playwright, I understand the idea of having an idea or having a concept, developing it in a short form manner. So, for film, that would be a short film, right? And then taking that concept and wanting to expound upon it, expand on it, and then creating a longer form version of that same, content. For instance, I had a 10-minute play that I am now developing into at least a 1-act play. I don't know if I'm going to do a full play, but at least a 1-act. So I get I do have to throw this in there. Okay. That 10-minute play. Okay. It didn't get produced. All right. So as far as the people know, they only going to see the full length version of that. But I say that to say that perhaps, They Die by Dawn, which is a short film, is possibly, in his eyes, maybe his proof of concept, right? Like, hey, I pitched this short film, because it's not even like 50 minutes, I don't think. Like, I pitched this short film, And somehow I was able to get these names on it. Isaiah Washington, big name. Jesse Williams, big name. Nate Parker, big name. Erykah Badu, right? Like people know these. Michael K. Williams, oh my gosh, right? Get these people on here. That is my proof of concept. I got these big names attached to my short film. I have an idea that like, hey, that was a good foundation. I'm glad we started with that. I want to do something bigger. Now I pitch my concept to a bigger company, i.e. Neflix. Now I get to produce my work on a larger, grander scale. Now, do we blame the writer? Do we say the writer is not, they're not creative enough? They don't have, new ideas? I can't say that. And I only say that again, coming from the perspective of a writer and understanding that sometimes you have an idea that you do want to expound on and expand upon. And perhaps that is what happened in this situation as well. So I don't know. Now, if we see a third one, then it's like, okay, all right, we're done. Just thoughts.
Next topic. No, I am disappointed. This man is a hack. A hack.
Oof. I'm gonna say.
Oh fuck!
What's going on?
I'm trying to figure out life, right?
Okay.
So I'm looking for 6 degrees of separation.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do something that I hate doing, because I feel that there should be some mystique left in the world. Oh, God. The Bullets is not just the name of Kevin's James. I'm sorry, not Kevin Samuels. Yo, when Kevin Samuels make a movie though, that's gonna be lit. But James Samuel is not just Bullets is not just the name of James Samuels. It's the name of James Samuel's band, which is an all-star studded band, which features the talents and the likes of James Samuel himself, Lucy Liu, the actress, rapper Jay Electronica, and on again, off again, lukewarm actor Idris Elba.
You don't say.
You do say, but it don't stop there. You got Jay Electronica, which is Jay-Z's artist.
Okay.
And you got house DJ / wannabe rapper Idris Elba. So therefore, you already set the stage for the makings of this film. But I say to myself, still, why is James Samuel? Why do these people even know this clown ass nigga?
Oh.
And so the reason being is that he is the brother of Henry Olusegun Ediola Samuel, who we all know as Seal.
Okay, we're done. We are done. This explains exactly how he was able to make the same 2 films. That's it. That's it. James Samuel is the brother of Seal.
James Samuel is the biological brother of Seal.
Okay, well, we're done. There's nothing more to discuss. What more is there to say? You ever meet people who you just know they like a BSer?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like, it's giving me very Fire Festival. That I manipulated y'all.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. This movie is the equivalent of that poster that they have in the barbershop of Dr. King, Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X, Barack Obama, and Tupac sitting around talking.
And it's a think piece, right? Because you're like, like, I wonder what that would be.
I wonder what the conversation would be. What are they talking about?
Right.
That's what this movie is. That's what The Harder They Fall is on its face. Have famous friends and family. It's surefire success. You know what? This clown ass nigga, man. This makes sense, man. Now this makes sense. This clown ass nigga is probably the reason Seal got his face beat in, man.
Oh,
like, you know
okay. Okay,
like,
Father.
It all makes sense now. You know what I mean?
Lord.
This talentless. You know
I can't take that from you, sir. I cannot, sir.
James Samuel, bro, you are ice cold, nigga. You are talentless. Yo, man. Oh my goodness. That nepotism? That's the reason I had to watch this this
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Sean has boiled down to. This is what it's all boiled down to, ladies and gentlemen, that this film is a result of nepotism. The end. That's it. The review is over.
Yo, listen, to quote Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, I'm Tony Schiavone, James Samuel, go fuck yourself, man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
It's a wrap,
all right.
Man.
All
it's
right.
a wrap, man. Why?
I'm just saying.
Podcast has 12 listeners. And this nigga right here, man. This has been Podcrack. We appreciate you for tuning in. And we appreciate Marita McKee for joining us tonight. You can catch her on the newest episode. You can catch her on the newest episode of ABC's Queens, starring Naturi Naughton, Brandy, and Eve. It's also on Hulu. Thank you. Thank you to our friends. Thank you to our neighbors. Thank you to our sponsors. This is Podcrack. This is HBK signing out saying, don't you go changing.
Peace, y'all.
Podcrack, right? Real guys talking that real shit.
New episodes weekly. Rate, comment, and subscribe.